What up?
It's your boy Cuban.
Yeah, and the most infamous guy they call Bunny. You know,
The homie Potts, you already know. We out here. Jay Bunny just joined us this week on the Spittles. He's a new host.
Definitely. Pardon me too, I'm a little bit under the weather, but it is an honor and a pleasure finally be on tune with my brothers. Something that we've been talking about for a while, man. I'm glad that we finally put this thing into fruition. So, you know, we here.
Yes, sir. We out here.
It's a pleasure having you up here, brother. It's definitely a pleasure having you on this Spittles talk, brother.
Sir, the Monday after Super Bowl. Y'all was happened to that last night.
Monday after Super Bowl. That was a crazy Super Bowl. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't follow. A lot of people look at me strange for that, but it is what it is. I don't follow football, and I did not see the Super Bowl. That's my disclaimer. I did not see the Super Bowl.
Wow. He's probably like one of.
But I'm pretty sure that it went a certain way where it was unfavorable from what I hear. So
I hope not, but we're gonna get into that a little bit later. Right now,
sir.
we're gonna introduce.
Yes, sir. Right now, we're gonna formally introduce the homie Jay Bunny, and Jay Bunny is a part of the Spittles, and we're gonna sit here and tell you why he's a part of the Spittles.
I mean, a part of the Spittles, yeah.
Hold on. What is the Spittles to you?
So, when I hear that word, the Spittles, it brings me back to a time where, you know, things was a little different, man. You know, the hood was it was a little crazy back then. I will say this though, I'm glad that we made it out the Spittles.
That's a fact.
But it's definitely always good to recognize where you came from. The Spittles, you know, that's basically like to some people they backyard, to some people clubhouse, so on and so forth. But it was just a gathering for me and my brothers. At the time we was going through things, whether it be, you know, in your household or in the streets. And you know, when we had time on our hands, we collectively come together, you know, build ideas. I ain't gonna say all of them was the most positive ideas, but you know, we was able to network.
With the means we were allowed
Definitely.
at the time for what we thought, you know.
Definitely, I will say, some of us is here and some of us is not. But I want to say, for the most part, the Spittles, it was, you know, basically a home away from home for me. It was things I was going through in my household where, you know, I felt like my parents, you know, my siblings, they wasn't on the same tune with me. As whereas it was easier to express, you know, these feelings and actions and ways around individuals that was in the same lane as me. But yeah, I always looked at it as an outlet to try to help get away from what, you know, we was going through.
Yes, that's a fact. In the crib,
Definitely
a place to escape and, you know, be somewhere where nobody was judging you. It was love in the air. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all were accepting of each other, and we all understood the woes that we dealt with in life, and you know, there was comfort in that. You know what I mean? We had our little tribe right along. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely was a tribe.
We knew that we could rely on each other when things was rough. You know, somebody needed a crib to sleep in. Somebody needed a couple dollars to eat. There was no shame in our circle. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that macked with us at the Spittles had that same mentality. You know, we was all there for each other. You know what I mean? So
that's a crazy story too. That's definitely a fact. Because I remember one time when I first met Jay Bunny back at the Spittles, my boy gave me the best weed I smoked in my life. He gave me some watermelon haze.
That shit was
Yo,
pink.
bro, I never smoked this in my life. He pulled up to the Spittles.
He was famous for that shit.
With the watermelon haze. Where did you get that shit from,
Yo,
bro?
he was famous for that shit.
Yo, bro.
Bunni, nobody bought that through the hood.
Bro, he brought that dude to the hood. And that was before. And that's when
we were still smoking Reggie's.
everybody, the whole entire world. I don't want to hear this. Oh, nah, I wasn't smoking. No, you was smoking Reggie. You was buying them nickels. Everybody.
Limousines.
Limousine bags. Not the limousine bags. They was getting little tools.
Squares.
Little squares. You know what I'm saying? But J Bunny, on the other hand, back in the day, he came through to the block like, yo, bros, look at this. Yo, it's
till this day, he holding that trophy though.
Yeah.
You know, it's just back then, things was hard. It was unheard of back then to have exotic weed. It was very rare, and to have something as to where as what I had,
super rare.
The actual cannabis itself was pink. Like it was the color of water.
That's what I remember. Hell yeah.
And it was something new for us. It was something we didn't see. It smoked just as good as it looked.
It tasted just like that
definitely.
Watermelon.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. At that time, the cannabis, it was heavy on my Spanish brothers, the Poppies. If anybody know the BX, you know that we're close relatives to Manhattan. And 207th and Post, I'm gonna put it out there. That's my backyard.
That's your backyard.
And God rest the dead.
Right across the bridge. Hell yeah.
It was some brothers back then that they hand stretched long, and I was blessed to come in the presence of them and make some things happen. But that definitely was something different for us at that time. I was content with the 5 for 20s we was getting back then.
OD.
You know, that Arizona.
You know what was the exotic back then? The mango piña.
Mango piña.
From the bar.
Or if niggas was going to Elliott and going to get that black.
Elliott, just it speaks for itself. Cannabis now is a little different because it's easier to replicate now. Back then, you kind of stood out when you had certain flavors and style. I'm personally a fan of the chocolate era. Chocolate is gone for some reason.
In my neighborhood back in Bushwick, when I was growing up, they had the beef and broccoli combo, bro. You used to get a bag of greenery.
What year was that?
With the chocolate stapled to it. You heard?
What years were those?
I'll tell you.
Incredible. What year was that? We talking about? That was millennium shit. That was 2000 when we just stepped in. The motherfuckers was flexing hard out there with the weed. Listen, we went from 5 strains to like 2,000, dog, and it's like you can't even speak on the time frame where you saw that transition happen, right or wrong. Shit just started hitting you from left to right. Like, oh, I got this, I got that.
Well, I've personally been smoking weed since 1997. Back then, you know, we didn't have eighths and halves.
Hell no.
Everybody was buying nickel bags and dimes. I mean,
dimes, you had it.
I was about to say, if you bought a dime, we knew you had a few dollars.
Yeah, you was doing well.
But
what about the brothers that was buying halves? Those were the only people that
you wasn't socializing.
I will be honest with you, those brothers, and don't get it twisted, a lot of us was getting a few dollars, but it's just the mathematic equation of breakdowns back then was totally different. The symmetric system, so now, you know, we're using eighths, halves, pounds, so on. It was a little cheaper back then. So, you know, for $5, you get your half, damn near half, depending on who you dealt with.
Eighth.
You get your nice, you know, I wouldn't say an eighth, but
it was like 2 grams.
Damn near, you know, depending on who you dealt with.
Them limos, I would say that
the limousine
it was like
shots.
a gram. There was like a decent gram for $5.
Yes.
That was lit though. You could roll 2 out of there if you were stretching, you heard?
Absolutely.
2 penners.
Yeah, so I particularly remember this one spot. I'm from the Bronx. It was on the concourse. They call it Jekyll and Hyde, and their gimmick or their marketing genius, they stood out. So what they would have is pretty much the limousine bags, but with it sealed in the middle. So it would have one side what they refer to as tabla. Tabla is known as pellet. It's
He went into some whole other
it's
shit,
basically
Yo.
it's bud.
That's how you know he was getting all of these.
It's bud, but it comes in a brick form. You have to put fire to it to expand it. And
So that would be today's live resin? That's what you're saying?
no, a reason why I say resin because it wasn't like a paste. This was actual bud, but it was compressed so hard that it was potent as crazy. So what we would do is, and then the other half would be a 20 of haze. Haze was very predominant.
That's that bull there.
In the late 90s,
can't even find that no
early.
more, though. You
Yeah, it's
can't
very hard to find haze. And you mix that together in a blunt, and you call it Jekyll and Hyde. And I kid you not, that was one of my first experiences of my actual brain cells. I could feel them shits burning,
Popping.
like I felt the heat gravitating throughout my head. But yeah, times back then, we had fun, man. We was that Spittles
What brought us all together, the weed.
definitely.
Yeah.
It gave us an edge off of whatever we was going through.
They say a friend in weed is a friend indeed. Like they
Trying
say,
to tell you,
they say
man.
that shit.
I'm trying to tell you.
That's my boy right
Hold
there.
that shit down, you know.
Definitely. I want to send a special shout out, man, to my two brothers here that's with me. These brothers got a vision. At first, I couldn't see it, but I definitely see what's going on, and I'm proud of y'all. And it is an honor again and a pleasure to be upon this beautiful platform.
That's what's up.
And yeah, man, I look forward to us growing, so on and so forth, man.
As we shall.
This
As
is-
we shall.
yeah,
As
this
we
is-
shall continue to
blessings.
prosper. And like I said, when if you guys go back to our Twitch, that was on Twitch when we right?
When we first started,
When we
yeah.
first started, if
y'all tuned in back then,
if y'all
yeah.
tuned in back then to Twitch, and he was one of the ones that came in on our live on Twitch, and I got so excited when he
Yeah,
came.
the second, that was
I
like the second time we rocked, right?
Yeah, it was like the second time. It was like our second episode, and I got so excited when he pulled up in the building. I'm like, oh man! And then after that, me and him was actually talking like before. Like we actually made it official to even bring you up. I'm like, yo, bro, nah, Jay Bunny gotta pull up because my brother,
yeah.
he just got like a strong opinion. And like I told y'all last episode, everything that's gonna be on this podcast is about opinions. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you chose to join the team, my brother, and I appreciate you so much.
Big facts, big
Definitely. And again, man, like I said, I'm overwhelmed, humble, and blessed, man, that this opportunity is available for all of us. I feel like there's a lot of us brothers, man, that things be going on and we don't be having a outlet to express what's going on. There's a lot of craziness right now in the world.
That's what we here for. That's exactly what we here for.
Sometimes people just need to talk to somebody, but they don't have
Absolutely.
nobody to turn to and shit.
Absolutely.
That's what we here for.
You know what I mean? If you happen to be out there during the hours of our live stream and you want to bring something to the table, get something off your chest, maybe get an insight on something that you may be dealing with in your life, or maybe you want to bring something that you can share with us that'll help us grow. We invite you all to the chat, to the live stream, the comments afterwards. You can hit us up on IG.
And down in the future, if you want, you could come up and talk whatever story you needed to say and your point
The
of view.
biggest thing about that is making connections, right?
That's a fact.
Making connections, because realistically, I think a lot of us can agree that this world has strayed away from that quite a bit, right? Making connections. People are more inclined to be sheltered and on their own, and introverts, if you may. You know what I mean? Like, but
I'm gonna be real. This is my opinion. I'm sorry to cut you
Go
off,
ahead.
but I think the word introvert is people that's like, I think, like this new generation, all these younger kids, because a lot of people that's like from '90s and was born in the '90s, these niggas is not introverts. Everybody that I know that's a '90 baby,
outside.
yeah, they was
Even if you
outside
thought you was
playing.
a geek or something.
Now you
Or whatever they label you,
I'm gonna
right?
be real. So that word introvert is picky.
Nah, you know, I think I could get a hint at what you're trying to go at with that. I think you're more so saying like that word kind of like enables the behavior to be what the characteristics of an introvert are, right? Like
OD.
that word, giving it a title, kind of enables the behavior. You know what I mean? It gives them an option to be such.
When the fuck you ever heard of introvert? I just heard that shit the other day. To be honest, where the fuck motherfucker told me, yo, yeah, I'm an introvert. I looked at him like, what?
So it's a word that it's used, but in which the context is used now, it seems a little different. That's a word when I was younger. It's not as common. It's more common now. But back then, you know, when you use that word, you was, you know, basically referring to something immediate, like, you understand, versus
But it's like being to yourself. That's what they
pretty much.
associate. You know what the Webster's dictionary says? Introvert, simply a shy person.
We all shy in
I
our
was
ways.
about to say that
We all shy in our ways.
introverts.
But I think people be spinning that a lot more. They be
And
stretching.
that's
that.
what I mean.
Yeah, they be stretching. that.
In which
Drag the
the
shit
They
name,
attach other shit to it, like anxiety and depression.
context, yeah, it's just
They
constantly.
just go off the deep end with this shit sometimes. Like, and not for nothing, in my opinion, this is what we hear. We bring our opinion to the table. I be hearing some of these sob stories from people that don't even go through any strife. They be living very well. Like they got a beautiful home, beautiful family, and they diving off the deep end with emotions that don't really
Exist.
don't concur with their life. Like it just don't. It's not. It's, like you could understand. Like we've been through some woes. You know what I mean? And then when you speak about what we went through and how we felt at the moment, you can understand why we. But no matter what we went through, we can't say that we ever labeled ourselves in a manner where it made us seem weak or something, right? Or as if we gave in to whatever was happening. You know what I mean? As opposed to being stronger than that, because that's what we had to do. Be stronger than that every day. Like when we speak about the escape of the Spittles, you know what I mean? That was being stronger was a part of that. We found our strength within each other.
And you know what's
what I mean?
crazy? Everybody escaped the Spittles in a different way. And honestly, never really looked back to the Spittles. Unless if it was for a reason.
I want to say the Spittles is forever. You
Yeah.
created your own Spittles with your beautiful daughters, your family. That's your Spittles.
That's your Spittles.
man.
That's a fact.
You understand? My home is my Spittles.
100, nigga.
My brother on my right, my left.
I could
That's
take
the
that.
Spittles.
That's
a fact.
his sanctuary.
The Spittles is where your heart
Spittles.
is. You heard? It's like you
Exactly.
know how they say the home is where your heart is.
Yeah.
Spittles is where your heart is.
Heart
You heard?
is.
That's a big fact. You know what I mean?
And when we collectively come together, it's called the Spittles. You know,
Yeah.
so
But we each have our own. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The
The Spittles is a mentality. You heard? That's what it
all.
is. That's what it is. You know?
And you know, not to cut from topic, there's a lot of things, and what I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the world. I pay attention to current events a lot. and there's some topics that we need to touch. I mean, there's so much to cover. I'm 39, y'all. Viewers, whoever.
Niggas are old head. Yo, look, hold on. I'm in between two old heads. You heard? This shit is gonna be fun.
Let me say this.
Yo, you're not that young though. Stop it. Why you always do
Let me say this, but
do that? Bro, you're like 5 years younger than me, right? He's in his 30s as well. So
yeah. No one's here is in their 20s.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun. I love
my
my old
heads.
heads.
The new 20s.
I love my old heads. You heard?
that is true. 30s is the new 20s.
But
20s is the new motherfucking teens because them niggas be acting. They be acting up.
Nah, but 20 and the 19s, they all the same idiots.
Nah, you see some people that got it together. I see a few youngins that are doing their thing and they aspire to be great and they got a good head on their shoulders. They come from a good background. Somebody's enabling that behavior for sure. So kudos to those people. You know what I mean?
Shout out to them. I tell my hat.
But I have seen some that are like faded,
spaced out,
lost, clueless. Like they've been pampered so long that they don't even know. Like some of these people, when real life hits them in their face, they gonna feel that. You heard? Like
definitely,
they're gonna feel that when they finally leave that nest. You know what I mean? The safety. Some of them never leave. There's some 40-year-olds that are still in the crib with mommy.
I'm trying to tell you. So getting back to things at hand. The world's events. There's a lot, and what I mean by that is like
what happened last night?
It's just in general, man. Yeah, that was crazy. I personally, and I'm putting this out there, I don't care who hears. I feel that the officiating in the National Football League is to be questioned, and that's
why is that?
Well, for one, it's like these calls sometime, and I don't really think they understand this. The refs,
them kids is putting their life on the line.
No, it's not even that. It's off of a call, you can change the momentum of a game, and that is very important when you're trying to get a W. What I mean by that is, for instance, look at last night. That was crazy, bro. Like,
what did I miss?
They're in the NFL.
You missed the pass interference that got called.
It's the last 2 minutes left, and you're telling me, as a referee, you're not gonna let these guys play. You're gonna call.
Nah, they not.
Pettiness.
They're not gonna let them play.
You know why? That shit.
Because for some reason, I just think, somebody lost a chance, and this was their chance back. That's probably a whole nother conversation in itself. But
what are you trying to say, bro?
Huh?
Get it off your chest. What are you trying to say?
What you mean? What I'm trying to say? That's my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? He's my homeboy. But
in hindsight, it all very well may be scripted, right?
Yeah, possibly. It looked it. That if you watch the very last 39 seconds of the game on Kansas City's offensive drive, it was just like everything was moving in fast pace for Kansas City and slow motion for Philly, and it was just, bro. They slid. They didn't even get the audacity to score the touchdown. Why not? Let's play football. Let's play.
It's TV first.
But let's play football. You're gonna kick the ball. You're not gonna give me a chance. You're not gonna give me a chance. You're not gonna give me a chance. Like, I would rather had gotten a chance than took it a slide and got a roughing the passer that should have gotten called but didn't got it called and got overturned. It's a whole bunch of extra weird shit that just completely happened. And not to say this like I'm a Philly fan. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm totally not a Philly fan. But what happened and transpired, you could tell that the gasoline that Philly had at the beginning, they didn't have that at the end, and you could just tell that it was just something happened that everything was in slow motion.
Hey,
To me, and this is my opinion. I could
powers
be wrong.
that be.
Yo,
Powers that be
shit,
call the
them
game.
Niggas
Yeah.
are strong. You heard.
Call the game.
Strong. And like I said, I fuck with Patrick Mahomes. Shout out to Jalen Hurts because he actually did his thing. They both did their thing as quarterbacks. Not gonna hold them to it because the shit was a gun battle. They put on a show for people. But they should have continued. We should have went to overtime. We should have gave somebody a chance. Let's give these people a chance. That's what you pay your money for. You paid all this people. I didn't pay to see a field
Yeah,
goal.
but who's to say it wasn't what it was?
To kick a field goal? That's not true.
Who's to say that it wasn't what it was though?
To kick a field goal, people paid all that money just to see somebody win by 3 points by a field goal. When it was 34-34, like we had a game, it was a shootout, gun all the way down, back and forth.
Imagine what the house parties were like.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Some people out there raging probably.
That is,
A lot of people lost money, man. A lot of
a
people.
fact. What else was happening out there, Bunny, though, that you feel like we should be touching on?
Just like in general, man, I want to say there's a lot, man. This thing with the police, man. Now I'm a little curious, right? Because the narrative now is a little different because it was black officers this time. And let me say rest in peace to that brother.
Tyrone Nichols. May rest in peace to his
Tyrone
family and everybody.
Nichols,
His family.
I send condolences to his family and friends, man. Something like that should have never happened. But now I'm understanding that I'm trying to understand that this is bigger. This is bigger than race, man. I don't like.
Not for nothing. It's a lot of cities like that. That's not just one of those.
It's the level of policing for me, man. It should never come to where you're being physically assaulted.
With all due respect, his name is Tyree Nichols.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Tyree Nichols. Rest in peace to Tyree Nichols.
January 27, 2023.
But this thing with all right, so these are people that we elect to serve and protect us, to protect the communities. I get it. A lot of us have different
Agendas?
some can say agendas. Some of us are anti-police, but I just feel like this. I always try to keep an open mind. So let me give you a little insight on who I am, and why I feel I have the right to speak on this situation. One of the reasons is because I've experienced police brutality to a certain degree. I've been incarcerated before. So I've experienced it from a closed door perspective where the TVs don't come.
You know what that means when the TV don't come.
Well, now let me say where the TVs don't, where the cameras don't come. Yeah, because the TVs is always
Where's no holds barred.
It's certain doors that the cameras can't go in. So, but this level of excessive force, I feel like that needs to be taken away.
It's the abuse
They lost that.
The abuse of authority as
They
well.
lost that.
They're giving that to the wrong people sometimes.
I really feel like they should not be physically, what's the word I'm looking for? I just personally feel like they shouldn't be using physical force no more, period. They lost those privileges.
They should have been lost those privileges.
I feel like they're
ago.
and let me be very clear. All police are not wrong. They're not bad. You understand? I understand in situations where it's either their life or yours. And there's a lot of sick people out here. I don't like to use that term. Let's go with mental health. and
What's the word?
it's caused a lot
Emotionally disturbed
people, which is AKA known as mental health. That's the term they use now. But yeah, I just feel like this level of excessive force
It's out of control.
there should be something put in play for that. I kid you not. I don't even feel like their guns should be like, unless the culprit or the individual or whatever they want to call them has a direct weapon at them, or a knife or a gun, then yeah, it's probable cause for excessive force. But you telling me to pull an individual out, pull him over, and tell him to get out, and then he's later dead on the floor, I'm lost. Like, it doesn't match to me. And
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people could speak to that too, like how it feels when you get pulled over by the police. And I mean,
Heart start racing. You just be there, like thinking the worst. Like, damn, I hope they
kind of like do their best to strike fear. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and yes, that is their number one, I think, objective, is to expose some type of fear in you.
But can I ask y'all this?
For no reason.
But if you don't show fear and show aggressive, the shit could go either way. So what you supposed to do?
no, I'm saying even when you complying, this shit feels sketchy. Even when you don't have nothing to worry about, this shit feels sketchy for some reason. It's just the energy they bring to the table. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've gotten pulled over in a traffic stop where, like, just recently, I told you, remember I was going to Connecticut? That I'm in the outside lane, on the right, and the cop is on the left-hand lane. I go to the middle, and the cop doesn't see me go to the middle, obviously, and I'm right alongside the rear of the car. The cop tries to turn into my lane. Notices at the last minute and swerves back. So I proceed to pass the cop. The cop dropped back.
Yeah.
I asked the cop, and I'm like, apologize or whatever. They pulled me over and asked me if I'm okay. You didn't see my signal? And yeah, no, I was alongside you. I couldn't see your signal. Like, but some of them just going to do what they want. That didn't lead into any aggressive altercation at all. And
Thank God.
by all means, I didn't have anything to worry about anyway. I didn't do anything wrong. But still, the way, like, not all cops are that cooperative where they just gonna let it go. And
Absolutely.
that some of them will continue to insinuate that it was your fault. Will then insinuate that you may be nervous or suspicious or under some kind of influence or something.
Yeah,
you're right. You seem a little shaky. You take anything?
Step on out.
So with my incident that I just had my hand in my pocket and started screaming back at the boys because I had
Yeah, I
to go
remember that. Oh, talk about that one. That just happened recently too.
Well,
this
I
shit
just-
could go any direction. I'm
That
telling
is,
you.
But look, I was standing there waiting for my daughters to get out of school, and I'm on the phone actually with Lou, right? And the detectives jump out and like literally reach for my pocket while I'm on the phone with him, and I start screaming at them like, "Yo, officer, like, what are you doing? You don't see me standing here with my daughter?" The partner that was about to get out the car, she jumps back in the car like she gets paranoid and jumps in the car. He looks at my daughter, his eyes opened up and just spun. So I'm like, I started screaming at him like, "Yo, officer, what did you stop me for? Let me get your badge number." He just literally walked right back into his car because he knew he was just up to no good. And he seen that I was with my daughter.
But realistically, there's other factors that apply to that situation. So you live in a dangerous neighborhood where
All our neighborhoods are
shootings.
dangerous.
Yeah, but you particularly live in a dangerous neighborhood where shootings are on the rise, and I'm not justifying their action at all, because the way they singled you out and just assumed that because you had your hand in your pocket, it was because you were holding some kind of weapon.
And it was a chilly day.
That's my assumption. I think that they thought they were under the assumption that you may have been holding something in your hand. So they So they grabbed it. They grabbed your hand before you could take your hand out of your pocket, which is something that they're trained to do.
But you just not.
But what was the probable cause for them
Me just
singling
there,
you out?
There was no probable cause. I'm just standing there on the phone. I'm literally on the phone. It's not like I'm on the phone. I'm talking.
And what do you think? What aspect do you think could have made them judge you negatively and jump out on you? You feel me? Like what?
I just think there's
what was it about it that when they saw you,
the way I look,
something you were wearing, possibly?
Man, listen.
Stop it.
Listen.
Speak on it, buddy. Get this nigga.
Listen. It doesn't matter what I was wearing. It doesn't. You cannot.
Get him.
Yo. All these. Hold on, time out. Because all these niggas that motherfucking wear that do the deliveries on a bike with the Uber, them niggas be with the ski mask on all day, bro.
He's right,
them niggas be with the ski mask
right, I
on
didn't
all
think
day.
But that's because that shit is cold.
It's cold, but I'll be cold.
They buy the bike.
Cold, Mo.
Oh,
My reasons, I told you my reasons for wearing a ski mask. I'm not hiding from nobody. I'm not, nigga.
It is cold right now.
It's cold, nigga. I don't like my face to be exposed to that shit. So I'm gonna wear a face mask.
Your man was out there looking like a hitter. So.
all the time. It just be all the time.
And
in the winter time.
Look, let me shoot this to the brothers and some of us weird sisters. Please do not be out here if it is not frigid weather. Please do not have a mask over your face. We are done with COVID. COVID is over. You look like a thief in the night when you come past me with your face covered.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all I could think.
In this day, I remember saying, listen, pardon me. I remember saying when COVID began and people were wearing masks, the ski mask and everything, suited and booted. I'm sorry. People had the most ridiculous shit. Like motherfuckers was coming out with
the real
nuclear war mask.
I seen the nigga with that, bro. I said, nah, this nigga is going crazy.
People had homemade shit. I've seen memes out there. But my thing is the masks that conceal your identity. They kind of like blurred the lines between what may be dangerous and what may be normal, right? Because back in the days, you saw somebody running around with a motherfucking mask on, you knew he was up to no good. That nigga plotting something. What is that?
Nah, but yeah, bro, like I said,
now it's like, COVID. Like
no, it's the fashion norm now.
Take that shit off.
Like,
take that silly
bro,
shit off.
It's not even now. J Bunny, I've been doing that fucking ski mask shit since.
Nah, I remember back in the days they had the Velcro strap shit.
Remember that?
With the point.
The head part was it only come here.
And after that, it was the mask.
The Velcro.
I had that. I never, bro. I don't like the cold,
that shit
bro.
Was flea, though.
I don't like the cold, bro. So I always had a ski mask every winter. I tried to. I don't like the cold, bro.
Somebody rapped.
I don't like that shit, bro. I don't.
Get a scarf like a civilized human being.
Nigga, I'll just put a ski mask on the whole winter. But the summertime coming right now, nigga, there's no reason for that. That's why shout out to Mikey Love No Ho. I told him 92. What I told him, it'd be 92 outside, and niggas be outside with a fucking ski mask on. Like, what the fuck? It's 92 degrees outside.
That shit becomes more than a apparel. That shit is a lifestyle.
And for what? And you know goddamn well, look at this nigga. He not spending nothing. Stop, bro.
But you see it. You see it in the culture, and widely accepted as being part of the fashion and the lifestyle. You see that.
Yeah, so they call it, what they call it? The Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty, I don't even think he's jacking that right now. But yeah, man, to my brothers and sisters, please, try to, ease up with that. It ain't that serious. And like I said, a person like me, I immediately think something ain't right.
Niggas start getting PTSD, huh?
Back to that.
It's very.
But a lot of things could be stereotypical in that sense.
Absolutely.
Not just a ski mask. I remember the days of the do-rags. That shit automatically get you labeled negative.
You couldn't even walk into an office building with a do-rag. I ain't gonna lie. ASAP Ferg, shout out to ASAP Ferg. He made that lit. You could go in the office building now and sit down and have a meeting with a do-rag on there.
Brother, you don't know how crazy you would look with a tailored suit on and a do-rag.
Bro, go look it up. Look at ASAP. He walking in there.
I don't even see niggas
But
with
you have to
do-rags
keep
no
in
more.
mind, ASAP is a millionaire.
Bird?
All of them, anything ASAP. They've built their brand to a high level.
Bro, and a lot of these younger brothers, they walking in the meetings with them do-rags on, bro.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm a billionaire investor, you come in my office with a suit and you're gonna have to get out. I don't even care. I don't even want what you got to sell.
Not even if his YouTube blicking.
But they try
No, brother.
why is that a factor?
That's what a lot of people go
That's
through.
what I'm saying. Like, no. I just think it's a level of so to speak, normal. Like, bro, when you have great opportunities like that, you don't sabotage them by wearing a fucking do-rag while you
With a suit.
speaking to the man. I got on that.
It's improper.
Like, come
It's
on,
improper.
man.
Typically, it's improper. Yes.
It's
They
like
even-
you want
listen,
this
they make you-
person
they
to
make-
take
it's like-
you
listen,
serious.
Let me compare that to another stipulation that some formalities may set, like shaving your face. Like for some organizations, you can't even have a goatee or nothing like that.
Oh yeah,
You gotta
definitely.
shave your whole face
Very
off. I think they started being like police.
clean shaved. Yeah,
They started being a little bit more lenient with that as of lately, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
'cause you see motherfuckers with braids and everything now. They look like us out there. They got tattoos and everything.
Them niggas been looking like us since the early 2000s.
Yo,
that's because
They're not undercover.
I don't want to say that they are us.
Yeah.
So it's like this, right? Let me say this, right? I don't deal with law enforcement because of my own personal issues, but I don't knock whatever their pledge, their oath, whatever the fuck you want to call
they're
it.
not all bad. They're not all bad.
But I'm gonna say this. So it's like this. A few of my friends from junior high school and high school are law enforcement. It's crazy. A female that I grew up with, I can't put her name out there, of course, but yo, I'm talking about we was thick as thieves. She became NYPD. Would you believe she won't even, listen, and like I said, it's because I made mistakes when I was younger. Yo, this girl Googled me, right? And whatever she refuses to talk to me. She won't accept my friend. Yo, she won't talk to me or nothing. This is we grew up together. We went to like public school together. We've laughed. It was never nothing sexual. It was more of like a sister brother. And it was like the minute she got hired, it was like
Cut off all ties.
like
You on the opposite side of the
and
field
I'm
now.
saying to myself, there ain't an entity in this on this planet that could stop me from speaking to my loved ones or the ones I consider family. That was just a little too crazy for me. But I know it's something probably bigger than her because I know that they have a policy as well where they don't want you entangled with no type of, so to speak, criminal whatever. And it is what it is. But I just like, I've always found that funny, like how a person is quick to compromise their life, their life, period, for something monetary. And after 20 years of service, you getting out of there. So it don't even fucking
I
matter.
mean, that's no different from my brother's in the Navy, and kudos to him. You know what I mean? It's good what he does. He enjoys it, I guess. He enjoys the amenities that come with that. But in my opinion, I can't see myself doing that. Like, that's a big obligation to take on. Like, and they kind of like, in my opinion, they kind of like own you because they can be like, hey, we need you, pack it up. You know what I mean? Like, and that shit ain't easy when you got a family and everything like that. So, blessings to that man. He does his thing, but I can't see myself doing it.
It's too much structure.
Not even that. When you make that commitment, you put yourself in the mind state where you're going to accept that structure, right? You made a choice. Some people get thrown in that shit and they don't conform quickly, but if they have no choice but to stay there, they get with the program. You do that anyway. When you went to prison, you got with the program. Yeah, you got conformed quickly, right? Depending on
Which program you was operating under.
Depending on how you operate as an individual as well. You can not fall in line with any program, right? But if you're there stuck in that environment, it's like a natural instinct for humans to adapt. You know, it's a survival instinct. You're not gonna sit there and just not do what everybody else is doing.
When in Rome, do what the Romans do, right?
Especially when you have no choice, right? So I think you get used to that shit. But so I wouldn't be like, I'm not saying that I'm not a fan of the structure or whatever the case may be. I'm just a fan. I'm not a fan of the fact that you're fighting for freedom, but you sacrifice your own. You know what I mean?
Do you really know what you're fighting for?
That's a whole nother question. That's a whole nother question.
Do you really know what you're fighting for? You going out there to fight for what? For real, for real.
Hey, man. Some of us got.
So that just makes them brave.
Some of us got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, but that just makes them brave in itself because they don't even really know what they're fighting for, and they're just going out there to fight.
Yeah, man. They trained to do as they're told, I guess. I don't know how that works. I can't really speak on that, and I wouldn't want to offend anyone by demeaning what they do, because what they do is a lot. I can't do that shit. I can't even do it in Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, it's not in me. Some people are born for that. Some people just thrive off that.
Straight Marine. He's ready to be out there gunslinging.
Well, people become a police as well. Some people, they look at it differently, and they take the position and they operate in a fashion where they honor it, you know?
Abuse their authority?
No, I'm talking about those that do the right thing. You know, some people look at it as something that they love, right? Like something that they hold dear to their heart. You know, some people have a family lineage of officers. They're all good cops. They all do the right thing. You know what I mean? Like that exists as well. There's two sides of the coin every time, bro.
But them black guys, you think they should have knew better?
You're talking about the officers in question. I can't say whether or not they should have known better. To be quite honest, something that I have to brush up on is looking into things a little further. If we choose to speak on it, I got to be more hip to the story. You know what I mean? But there's always going to be, like I said, there's two sides of the coin. The officers are going to say they did everything that they were supposed to do, and on the other side, it looks like they did. You know what I mean? I do understand that, but I can't speak on it because I didn't really look into it, and I'm never going to justify someone. Like, I heard they killed him while he was already restrained. Certain things I heard, whatever, but I haven't looked into it myself, so I really can't formulate an opinion to say. I will never justify the killing of an innocent man. You know what I mean?
So J Bunny,
did you look into the story? Did you look into the story at all?
It's
Tyree Nichols.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Like, was it clear?
There's a lot in that case, bro. Two of the officers, one of them was exchanging the photos around of. He had did something with his social media. I don't know if he was trading photos with someone, but he got caught passing the footage of that encounter.
That's what ridiculous.
Like, it's
true?
Bro, them dudes is different, man.
Crazy.
Different, like these.
Of course, they should be held accountable. Accountability is what keeps things from going all the way south. Yeah, man. From fucking tyrannies being allowed and everything, you know, where the people have the power and they abuse it to the point where they do what they please and there's no repercussions for that. Of course, that should not be accepted at all.
Is that part of tyrant mentality?
Tyrant mentality. Listen, a tyrant mentality is not considerate for anyone. They're not considerate for anyone. So you can automatically, if you're labeled a tyrant, bro, you can automatically assume they don't give a fuck what you think. They're gonna do what they please. But I'm not associating that with that situation. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what happened there. That the guy passing around the footage, that's just some stupid shit. Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? And as with any other altercation with the police that went south, that went bad, they should be held accountable, of course. You know what I mean? Especially when you got these body cams showing you a whole video of, you know, things going improper, you know,
Yeah, that's a fact.
things going wrong, you know what I mean? I saw a video of a guy that was acting up in Walmart, and the cops came to restrain him, and at some point during restraining him on the ground, he tried to pull out a knife on the officer, and they shot him. And that was justified because the cop said he feared for his life, or what, you know. And hey, I don't know what factors
And
apply
then,
when they
like,
make the choice.
two, right? Now, these laws, right? These laws is one-sided. There's nothing to protect us as real citizens. The amendment states we're allowed to bear arms, but
In certain states.
just period. You're allowed
You
to
have the right to bear arms.
You have the
yes.
right to bear
to
arms.
prevent against tyranny.
But
most importantly.
because of legislation, laws, there's so many laws that govern in between. You might as well say that don't even exist. Like, it don't even exist. Because if you get caught in the state of New York with or without a felony and it's unregistered, you're going to jail. Simple as that.
Well, yeah, that's because look how crazy
New
gun
York
violence
is New York. Come on.
Yo, seriously, and listen, while there's people that advocate for guns, there's a whole shit list of reasons why we need to be stricter with
guns,
with the accessibility to guns, the laws and everything, because people are out there running around like this is the wild west. Remember they did that shit in Texas too, where they said you could go outside with your gun
But
now.
see, those states have
What's going on over there?
They have their own laws.
That's stand your ground.
We don't have that. We don't even have. We have what we call justifiable homicide. We don't even have.
And what is a justifiable homicide for people that doesn't know? What's that?
Well, justifiable homicide. It's a lot of accountabilities with that. Basically, I don't care what the person has to come in your home basically for you for a DA or ADA to not press charges against you in a case. It has to be complete justifiable. So let's say me and you was fighting, right? And you came with the weapon. We happen to fight. I take the weapon. Now, you came to shoot me. We fight. I take the weapon from you and kill you. That's justifiable homicide. But it can't be if I came with a gun.
If there's witnesses that can concur with,
Well,
it can't just be you
we're
two
in times
and you
where
say-
it's cameras everywhere. So
yeah. But I think you mentioned that shit one time when some guy like pushed the guy in the train tracks, remember? And they try to like say that.
I know someone right now.
That's what I was just.
This happened the summertime. He got into an altercation with a dude in the store. The dude had the gun on him. The dude tried to shoot him in the head. They was fighting. He beat the dude up, took the gun and shot him. Killed him. He was released off of justifiable homicide.
Okay, because they probably had it on camera.
And the
if
dude,
if he didn't clearly
the
take
dude
take the aggressor out,
yeah,
that he would have been killed. I
Then
guess.
had two witnesses.
Just like the
they
Muslim brother
seen-
that got robbed in the store. He stabbed the black nigga that came in there and tried to rob on camera.
and they still charging him.
They charged him, but they
the
let him
murder?
go. Yeah, they let him go.
They let him go.
Yeah, they let him go. Because it was on camera that he tried to defend his business, like he was saying. Everything that you was just saying, he did it on
Yeah,
camera.
there's certain
showed.
self-defense like applies to
Yeah.
like your home and your business. I think I
They
believe.
not, can't go in someone's house. You go in someone's house, they can shoot and kill you.
That's a fact.
That's here in New York. Just
That's
so
your
y'all don't
actions
think
that took you there.
You come, you go in the nigga house in New York, you gonna get killed, nigga. So don't do that.
Bodone, that's it.
Yeah,
At the
don't
door.
do that.
Excuse me.
So
Don't do that. I think that's one of the reasons why they don't do that.
But before we conclude the night, I want to say thank you to everybody again for joining us here. Episode 2.
Tuning in.
We just here
Appreciate
chilling.
y'all.
We talking our shit. We vibing. You know.
Next week we definitely gonna have some
Topics
real
to touch
solid
on.
things to talk about. We was
Sure.
just, you know,
testing the chemistry, see how this is gonna flow between three brothers, because this is all a rehearsal. You understand what I'm saying? This is
We
always
still
gonna be-
ironing out the wrinkles and everything. There's still things we got to work on. You know. As we go along, you're gonna see the
Y'all
progression.
gonna watch the progress, because y'all gonna be right here with us as we grow.
sir.
You gonna grow.
yeah. Again, shout out to my brothers, man. I'm sending a strong vibration, love to the fallen soldiers, man. It's too many names for me to name,
fact.
but you know, let's just keep our eyes open, man, and keep moving forward, man. Keep the stupidity behind us, away from us. And if you could definitely give someone some advice, insight, do it. It don't cost you nothing. Support is free.
That's a fact.
Fine.
Or
It's a fact.
Just press the like button.
That's
Share
it.
one time.
share, man. Let us know.
Yes, sir. You never
The
know
real
where
is
things
back.
might take it. Eh?
The real
Other
is
than
back.
that, we hope that you join us next week.
Yes.
We need you to like, comment, and subscribe to
Yes,
the
sir. Turn on that
Spittles.
notification
Yes.
bell so you can tap in when we go on live.
Appreciate
Engage
y'all.
with us and everything like that, you know.
Always.
Tap in.
Keep us in tune. Tell
See
us
how far we could take this. You know what I'm
Get-
saying?
get-
You're a part of this as well. Let's
Yes,
not
sir.
forget that.
Give us something to talk about. I think you guys should talk about this and see how far we take it. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about it collectively and say, yo, bro, I think we should that person that left that comment, bro. They sound some shit. Maybe we could talk about that.
That's a
You know what I'm
fact.
saying?
You never know. Keep making connections out here. There's no reason not to. I always say that. You know what I mean?
Love for the network. Network is key. You know what I'm saying?
So thank you once again, everybody.
Like,
We see
follow,
you next week.
Like, follow, subscribe.
Share, follow, turn on that bells. Do what it takes. You know what I'm saying? Do what it takes for yourself as well.